Good morning, family. I've been going for a couple hours now, doing some running around, heading to different jobs, and so we've got 5 employees now. And so when I'm doing this running around, I have to leave someone in charge. And so with that, I have to line them out on what the expectation is of the progress through the day. And something that I've noticed as in my position, I'm thinking about so many different things. I'm thinking about 3-4 different projects, everything that goes into those projects, from what the materials that we need, to how many guys that I need, how many hours it's going to take, the process of starting and completing the different projects. And so my scope and the way that I view things are from a pretty broad lens, and I'm very detail oriented too, though. So when I step onto a job, I'm like looking at every little detail and usually have something to say about it. And I mean, that's part of my role as a business owner and as the leader of the groups that I'm dealing with. And with that, I've talked about not being too critical, and I can be very particular in the way that I want things done, because I expect an excellent product at the end for the customer, as they do. So with that, I made an analogy yesterday, just driving down the road, and I noticed when I'm driving down the road, and I consider myself a pretty good driver, when I drive down the road, I'm not looking at the road right in front of my vehicle. I'm looking 50 yards, 100 yards, 1,000 yards, a mile down the road, which gives me a broader perspective than I can see vehicles coming, out of side streets, and people crossing, and animals, and all these things that could be potential problem when you're driving. So with that, what kind of just correlated for me, and when I'm driving down the road, I'm not only looking at the road, but I'm looking at everything, everything off to the side. And so since I'm in the building industry, I'm looking at houses, I'm looking at fences, I'm looking at the straight lines, I'm looking at how things are constructed, and in my mind I'm deconstructing and constructing them again. It's just kind of how my mind works, because I've been doing this for so long, and I love that aspect of it, and creating something that's going to last for a long period of time, and in many cases longer than I'll be on this earth. So as I said, that's just how my mind just is constantly running that way. And part of that is because my investment in my business and the mission and the vision that I have for it. Now, one of the things that I struggle with, or am learning to deal with, is getting my employees and the people that I work with to have that same drive, that same vision, that same eye for things, that I don't have to come on the job and say, hey, why is this done that way, or why didn't you do it, this is how I wanted it done, because at some point my hope is to have people in my business, again, that can see the mission and vision, that take some ownership, which I try to provide through empowerment and giving them good feedback, Now, sometimes I don't give good feedback because I'm frustrated with how things are turning out, and I'm human, and so I'm working on better delivering corrective action and how to cultivate a better environment where even when someone messes up, that there's a way to work through it without a bunch of hassle and someone feeling like that they're not doing a good enough job, because mistakes happen, and that's just the bottom line. I mean, in any business. So I'm kind of probably ranting here a little bit because this just is off the top of my head. I was driving and thinking about it, and things that I need to work on, and things that I see in my business. So my bottom line here, what I'm getting at is having a broad view of what you're dealing with, whether it's your business or your personal life. Don't get tunnel vision. Don't just we can get real focused on things and not see really where we're trying to go, where we don't see what we're trying to accomplish so much as what we're seeing right in front of us, right in front of our nose. We get blinded by things sometimes and don't look at the big picture. So that's my encouragement, really, is to look at the big picture. Don't look at the road right at the hood of your car necessarily. You got to be looking ahead, and that's just my perspective. And having done what construction for so many years, it's just I find myself, as I said, picking every little thing apart, figuring out how things go together and how we take things apart. And so I'm already seeing a project done. Now, when you have employees, sometimes they're only there to collect a paycheck, and so they're not interested in growing in that way. But those are the type of people that, we always need workers that are going to get stuff done, and not everybody's going to be a leader, and that's okay. But I think any business is looking for people, for the most part, that are going to grow with the business and help the business grow and be better. So if you're out there and you're trying to grow in a business, if you're an employee and you want to excel, then start looking at the mission and the vision of your company. Look at what they're trying to provide. Look at what their goal is, and figure out what you can do to better yourself, to better the company, if that makes sense. So that's my rant for the day. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Love you guys. Just stay positive, keep growing, stay encouraged, lift someone up today, give some encouraging words. You guys are good enough. You guys can do it. Get after it. Love you guys. God bless.